And we are live. Let's make sure we're good to go. And yes, we are. Boom. So we're live. So, what if Dave Ramsey and Robert Kiyosaki hooked up? Sorry, I got to turn off my notifications. Do not disturb. What if Dave Ramsey and Robert Kiyosaki hooked up? Well, if you stay to this end of this video, I think you're gonna find out how they have collided and had a bit of a divine union, so to speak. All right, so I'm going to tell my story. So, who is this video for? It's for real estate investors and it's for private lenders specifically. Although I'm shooting this video live, I'll probably recreate it more professionally and clean it up at some point in time whenever the big unveiling gets announced. I don't know. Maybe I won't. I'm just going to shoot from the cuff and just have some real talk here with you guys. But there's going to be a lot for you real estate investors that are using leverage in your real estate from the rich dad, poor dad frame of mind, and for real estate investors, mainly for lenders who have invested with me currently or in the past. Please watch this video. It is going to be quite lengthy. So break it up, put it on 1.5 or 2 times speed if you need to. But there's some important information that I want to share that explains kind of where things are going in the world, I think, but definitely in my world. So there's going to be changes to come in the world of real estate and in my world. And that's always been the case. So that's not like a big news flash or whatever. But before I get into where we're going, let me talk about how we got here, meaning like how I got here as a business and where things are moving. So before I got into real estate, I spent much of early years of my life. I didn't have much direction. I wanted to go to the NFL. That was pretty evident. That wasn't going to happen in high school. Name was not called during the NFL draft. I wasn't even going to go to college. College was not a word that was used in my home. No one in my family had ever went to college. My parents didn't mention me going to college, so didn't really think about it. Didn't care to go to college. I wanted to go to the military. Couldn't go. Had plate and 5 screws in my right ankle and pins and needles or whatever, pins in my left knee from ACL that I heard playing my last year, the senior year of playing football, last week of the season. So I went and got a warehouse job. Didn't know what I was going to do. Decided, later on, I better go to college, get some education because warehouse job is for the birds. And since I couldn't go into the military, that's all I really wanted to do. I was like, well, I guess I'll go into law enforcement. So I did that. Went to college, got a criminal justice degree, went into college. Went into law enforcement, and I was happy there. It was good. I was going to go federal, like FBI, DEA. I was looking at those just avenues. And then I met my wife, and we had our first child. And I'm like, decided I'll stay, and decided to year 6, year 7, decided to get out of law enforcement, mainly because of politics, but also the hours and all this kind of crazy stuff. So at that point in time, I'll bring you to Dave Ramsey. So at that point in time in my life, I really had no financial education. I left law enforcement. I got a corporate job. I hated, you guys know my story on that. Most of you do that. I hated it from day one. I came home, my wife, how was it? And I'm like, I hate it. Don't worry. I'll do well and I'll work hard, but I don't like it. And I'm not going to stay here forever. At that point in time, my wife and I were like financially stupid. We were illiterate. Okay. So we took the Dave Ramsey class. Our church said, hey, this Dave Ramsey guy is coming, or actually he wasn't coming. It was just like his class, Financial Peace. We took it. We learned the baby steps. We learned about bad debt. And we're like, well, we got that. And we did the stuff, right? We paid off our debt, student loans, and just like some stupid credit card debt. And we said, woohoo, we're debt free. Although I think we still had a car loan at the time. But other than that, we were like debt free, 1 car loan. So we did that. And I was like, okay, we're debt free. This is great. This is wonderful. But I'm like, I'm like, we're still broke because I wasn't making much money. My wife was a hairstylist. We're living in this apartment. I'm like, this is not good. And so the Dave Ramsey model was basically no bad debt, and no fun for the most part, right? It was like live a very, very, very modest lifestyle and climb the ladder, and just be okay with the basic necessities and essentially middle class for majority of your life, and then you can go have some fun. And I was like, no, I'm just like that. That's not gonna work for me. I've basically been broke my entire life, and now I've got a wife and a kid, and I don't want to be broke. I want to give them more. And like I saw that life that my dad led, which was just grinding it out in a job that he really, really disliked, and basically is like a lot of men, it's like a quiet life of misery, but misery where they're just not really happy. And I just decided I wasn't going to do that. And my like I this is not disrespect towards men out there or my father. 'Cause my father worked his butt off for me and my family, and I greatly appreciate and honor him. But I knew I didn't want to follow that path, and I learned that from kind of watching him. I wanted to do something I enjoyed, something excited me, and something where I could potentially make some good money. So um, I discovered real estate, rich dad, poor dad, and the funny thing was this was like Dave Ramsey, no debt, no bad debt. Kiyosaki, good debt, create lots of good debt. Okay. And so there was this, two different distinctions here. We've got the little angel of Dave Ramsey, and we've got the little devil of Robert Kiyosaki. One ear, like which good, what's bad? Or maybe Dave Ramsey was the devil and Kiyosaki was the angel, right? So it's like, it's all about perspective. So for me, it was like the Kiyosaki's the angel of light, right? And so you guys know my story was that my wife almost not long after we had paid off credit cards, student loans, all that kind of stuff, that I borrowed against my credit card to go buy my first investment property as a rental, January 2007. And I ended up buying 10 more rentals that first year while working my full-time job. I didn't quit my job yet. 2008, I did 10 partnerships, buying rentals, 10 deals with partnerships. And then 2009, I quit my job, went full-time. So you guys know my story. Most of you, some of you don't, but we've done hundreds of deals since then, well over 500 deals, written books, how to flip a house, private lender playbook, you name it, 300 to 400 flips, owned over under rentals. We've got a large portfolio of owner finance notes, mobile home parks, RV parks. We've done land syndication deals. We've done commercial buildings. We're doing a small subdivision development right now as we speak, and we've built new construction, like name it, real estate agent, all this kind of stuff. I've done a lot of it in the world of real estate. I haven't done it all, but I've done a lot. And I don't like to toot my own horn, but I did hear Grant Cardone say the other day, his mother used to tell him, if you've got a horn, why don't you toot it? So I'm going to toot my horn a little bit. And the thing that I'm most proud of is not any of the stuff that I've mentioned I've done. And by the way, I never got into real estate. Like my intention was never like to get rich or wealthy with real estate. That's a good byproduct of real estate. But I just wanted time and freedom, right? I wanted financial freedom just to have my time to do what I want to do with my time. Um, Family, reading, some of you guys know like pursuits that I do stuff physically and all that kind of stuff. Now, that's why I got into real estate. But when I got into real estate, when I started borrowing money, I said, my overarching goal, right, is like, yeah, I want to create this time and financial freedom in a life that I want. But another overarching goal I had was like 100% track record of performance with my lenders. I've seen way too many people in this business. They come in and they just walk on a deal, right? Leave their lender, left in the dust, cleaning up the mess over and over and over again. And I do understand sometimes like business is hard. There's a reason like we hear 9 out of 10 businesses fail. It's because it's, hard. Okay. It's really hard. And so despite starting where I started from and my back being against the wall, I can't tell you how many times I've kept that 100% track record. Okay. Um, and there's been a price to pay for it. Okay. Because I've not always had that time and financial freedom that I've wanted. Like I've worked long ass hours, like a lot, and for a long, long time, right? There's been a lot of stress in my life. At times, there's been a lot of financial worry about deals and me losing money on deals, not my lenders. I've always performed, but like me taking losses on deals or just spending tons of time on a deal, putting your heart, your blood, sweat, and tears into a deal. And then it doesn't lose money. I mean, it doesn't make money. Like it just break even or it flops, and sleepless nights and all that kind of stuff. And look, we all go through valleys, right? We all have to go through like pits, and we have like times in life that are painful or difficult. But that's usually when we get our greatest revelation and insights during those times, right? And so I went through a couple of pits last year, partially business, partially personal. Like there's a lot of things in the market that are painful over the last couple of years, like with cost of rising construction, material costs, and all that kind of stuff. Like the influx of so many investors into the deal, the cost per deal. Like I had a lot of just some business pains with people, personnel, some bad decisions. Like we dropped close to like, $60,000 in a marketing campaign and we didn't get anything from it, just stuff like that. Um, some things with a couple of my children that we went through, but there's those times are when we get our greatest revelation, right? And so all the times that I've had pain, like I'm grateful for it, like 100%. It's not regret. It's like gratitude because of the lessons that we can extract and learn from them if we apply them. Okay. If we apply them. And so, by the way, I'm sharing a lot of videos like this, and some of you have been getting them. Follow me on Facebook, and now I'm on Instagram, and I'm going to be sharing a lot more of just kind of speaking my heart and just realness and truth with people because I think there's a lot of misinformation in the world of real estate and these gurus out there. Um, so I'm going to be speaking a lot. It's not going to all be PG rated. I have a heart to like share more with men, helping men become better fathers, husbands, businessmen, just better overall men and useful to society. Because I think there's just been a watered down and sedation of men that's like really impacting society. So follow me on other places. I'm not going to get too sidetracked. So back to the real estate thing. In essence, what's transpired, through some of the thoughts that I've had and about real estate and the economy, not real estate and the economy, but like what's transpired in me through some of my reflections that I've done, a lot of reflecting on in the past has brought me to today and where the market's going. So first off, I'll tell you that I don't know what the market's going to do. Okay. I read recently, Socrates said, I'm the smartest guy in town because I acknowledge that I don't know anything or I don't know anything, something like that. Um, I'm notorious for misquoting quotes. So don't hold me to this quote, but he's like, I'm the smartest guy around because I admit I know nothing. Like the world and the universe it's too big and it's too vast to know. So that's why I've always stayed shy of saying like people, hey man, what do you think the market's going to do? I'm like, I don't know. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's probably going to plateau for a while, and then it'll either go up or down after that, and it'll keep doing that over and over and over and over again. But I do know that sound investing fundamentals that have been proven to work, say for decades or even centuries, typically work. And when people ask me, or people do ask me, and I'm talking about my business, is how have I stayed in business this long, getting close to 20 years? I'm in my 18th year. It's just like, well, pretty conservative business model. We invest in affordable housing, medium price housing and below. We invest in deals that have multiple income either income stream opportunities or exit strategies. We can flip our properties, we can rent our properties, we can own or finance our properties, we could, quickly sell them and wholesale them, or we could even Airbnb. So we have opportunities with them in the medium price housing and below market, which is the affordable housing market, is who we serve. So I'm going to start tying this in now to Dave Ramsey and Kiyosaki and if they hooked up. All right. So last year, I mentioned, like, last year I went through some stuff, and so whenever I go through stuff, I focus on that stuff and, like, okay, what happened? Why did it happen? What can I extract from it? Why could this be a positive thing? And what is the lesson to learn here? Why lesson apply the lesson. And so late last year, just in the morning, I had this routine. I sit and, I journal, I read, like, I pray, and I just sit there and I listen, to whatever thoughts come in my mind. And, I had this voice telling me, whether it's God or, who knows what, but it was pretty clear to me, and I'm pretty sure it was God. And it was the message was like, the borrower is slave to the lender. And I was like, yeah, I know, like, I've read the book of Proverbs, like, I get it. And then I kind of sense it again, like, the borrower is slave to the lender, but it was pretty loud and it was pretty clear. And so I sat with that thought, for a while, and several weeks passed, and I mentioned it to my wife. I'm like, I kind of felt this in my heart, and I don't know why I'm hearing it, because obviously it can't be for me. I'm the I'm a master at the leverage game. I mean, I basically wrote a book about it, for crying out loud, with the Private Lender Playbook. I mean, that's who I am. It's what I do. But I just kept sensing the borrower slave to the lender, and it really stuck. I'm like, this is not going anywhere. Like, I need to do something with it. And I just didn't know what. So I kind of placed it on the mental bookshelf of, like, I'm gonna come back very, very soon. So late last year, fast forward to the end of the year, I was going through a mastermind, and we're going through times of focusing on goals, what we're going to do the following year, and do a little focus session, meditation, writing, and all that kind of stuff. And it's a very simple question, like, what do you want? What is it that you want? Who do you want to be? Stuff, questions like that. And for me, very distinctly, and I mean very, very distinctly, I was going in with all these other thoughts, like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, da 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 da, just typical stuff that I run through my mind when it comes to, like, New Year's goals and things like that. And it kind of just hit me, and two words appeared, and they were free man. And it hit really hard in my heart, profoundly, that is what I not only want, that's what I need to accomplish this year, is to be a free man. What I mean by that, we all want to be free, but you can probably see the situation that I'm in, that, I have a lot of good debt. Okay. I've got a lot of good debt, income producing debt that produces, over 100,000 a month in passive income. I'm not talking about my flipping. I know a lot of people know me as a flipper, but, I'm grateful that me and my team have built a business that we bring in over $100,000 of income a month passively, through our rentals, our owner finance notes, or mobile home parks, et cetera, not including flips and just active income, just passive. And a revenue, I should clarify and say it's $100,000, revenue a month. But I built my business on leverage, and my identity to a certain extent. And I'm hearing, the message of being a free man, and my interpretation that I'm hearing is like 100% free, financially, meaning like debt, and we'll get into good debt and bad debt in a minute, but just like being all free in all areas of my life, and my faith, my relationship with God, having freedom there. And I've broke through a lot of just shit that I was holding on to or blocking me and God, like with religion, just so I have a direct, like I want to be free there. My family relationships with my wife and my children. Some of you know, like we've had 5 kids and we adopted, and we've got struggles with one of them. And we worked through that. We were at counseling last night about it. But I want free to experience freeness there. Uh, my health, my fitness, I want freedom there, and my finances. And when it comes to debt, we only have good debt. We have real estate debt. That's it. I do have a vehicle financed through my company that my company pays for. That's it. But God's telling me to be a free man. And Dave Ramsey's telling me all debt is bad. Kiyosaki's telling me debt is good. And I've done 500 plus deals with 100% performance. So this surely can't be for me. But the voice wouldn't go, meaning just in my heart, right? This feeling I had in my heart. And so I just made up my mind, and I said, as I've gotten older, I've learned to be wiser. And like, just when you really hear that voice, your gut, whatever you want to call it, your instinct, like your intuition, it's usually pretty good that you kind of seek and start taking some steps in that direction when you feel it really, really strongly. You don't always just go off your feelings, but when you feel something so strong, you feel it's evidently clear that it is truth, it's wise to listen. So I've decided I'm going to go in that direction. So basically it started with like a process like, I can't do this, this is not even reasonable, to just asking one of the most powerful questions we can ask ourselves is like, how? So I went through the questions of how. So how can I do this? Number one is I could sell everything. Number two, I could partner. Number three was kind of the answer that appeared was like a bit of both. Okay. So you guys know that some of you may know that I've done some land syndication deals where we've raised large amounts of money to buy some land deals that we're currently developing or disposing of. And, where we bring in lenders and we're partners. We have general partner, we have limited partners who come in, raise the money, do the deals, zero bank interference, and or the banks are not involved in those deals. And that's kind of where I'm going, is like we're giving banks the middle finger. Okay, we don't like them, we don't trust them. Meaning me, a lot of my lenders and partners and people that I associate with, well, we don't want the banks in our life. So I've done some of these deals, right? And when we do a syndication or we have a fund, like we operate everything. Like me and my team, we operate anything in the field, construction, property management, accounting, bookkeeping, all that kind of stuff. We handle all that with the appropriate team members and professionals. So I've gone through all this to arrive at this point, is that I still feel like real estate is 100% the best investment that is out there, probably always will be, even in downturns, probably more so in downturns. Cash flowing real estate, affordable housing real estate, that kind of real estate. But for me moving forward with real estate, I'm not going to be involved with the banks anymore. And so how's this going to work? So some of you watching this, if you're a real estate investor, I hope if something begins to if any of this resonates with you, like start digging a little deeper, figuring out what you need to figure out on that. Okay. For those of you who have either are invested with me currently. So I should have said this at the beginning. This is not a disclaimer. This is a disclaimer. Like, I'm not trying to raise money, pitch, promote, none of that. I'm just sharing my experiences and my story and some things that are on my thoughts and on my mind. But some of you who are watching this, I'm sure, you have loans with me, and you've either invested with me in the past, or you've invested with me currently and plan to invest with me in the future. So it's the future we're going to talk about. What's transpiring for 2024 is, number one, some of my portfolio is going to be sold. Number two is that I am transitioning. I'm in the process. I'm working with the SEC attorney to create a fund, a PPM right now, and we're working on that will begin to move my existing portfolio of real estate into the fund. Um, and this is real estate with equity. There's quite a bit of equity. There's 4 million plus probably equity that will be contributed to the fund. So investors you will have an opportunity. You will have an opportunity to convert your current mortgage or note with us, your loan with us, to the fund if you choose. If not, it's completely fine. There will be more details coming about this, but here is the way that this is essentially the divine union of Dave Ramsey and Robert Kiyosaki that I came to. Was obviously real estate is a game of leverage. It doesn't have to be, but that's typically how the game is played. But it's typically leveraged with debt, right? It means there's an investor who borrows money because of the upside, right? And there's typically, like I always believe, like Sam Zell taught, like high risk, low reward. And if the real estate investor does great, guess what? They get a very high reward, and because they avoided the risk, and the investor gets a fixed typical rate of return, whatever they were promised, and that's good. If the investor ends up doing a deal that the risk turns out to be much higher than the reward, then a lot of times that investor will either lose money, or they just walk from the deal. And then what? Now the lender is actually taking the loss. They've taken on that risk. They've had the financial hardship that investor walked away from. This happens a lot. It happens a lot. And so the divine union is that obviously to play the real estate game at a high level where you've got, whatever it be, 8 or 9 figures in real estate, and I'm definitely in the low 8 figures, is that we need this business takes money. It takes capital. Takes money to make money. But it doesn't have to be bank money. And so it's essentially a partnership that will be created. Like, rather than, let's say, leverage or debt, let's call it a partnership, right? Because a fund is what? A fund is capital that's raised collectively to put into real estate, where everybody receives dividends, right? Shares of the upside. In times of challenges, maybe some of the downside. But what I'm proposing here is, what I'm working on is I've got, say, we'll just use a number of 10 million, because I don't know what I'll bring in and what will be sold or whatnot before it all gets done. There's $10 million of real estate that has been held, that I've held over the years with that 100% track record that's producing, say, 100,000 or more a month in revenue. And then what would a investor receive? They receive a monthly rate of return, right? They're going to get a monthly pref rate, fixed interest return monthly, paid out monthly, just probably like they already do. But then they're going to get equity, like upside. Each year there will be dividends paid out based on the performance of the portfolio, based on the equity. Tax benefits, they get the security of the real estate and the full team within, but it's hands off, it's turnkey. So that's what I'm working on. So I wanted to share that, one, for my investors, to give you a notice, right, of what's coming up. And like I said, there's, and then also what we'll be doing is managing the portfolio, rentals, owner finance notes, mobile home parks, RV parks, all of the recurring income. And then any cash reserves that are available, those will be used for some active income to do some flip deals and do some hard money lending as well, so that any idle money that's sitting is not sitting idle. It's also earning a rate of return as well, if that makes sense. So that's what will be done with active lending. And so the fundamentals, whether you're, a passive lender or you're an active real estate investor out there, the fundamentals of real estate work, and that's not going to change. sometimes the vehicles change a little bit, on what's the best strategy or the best fundamental to utilize in each market. But the important thing I found is like knowing when to shift and knowing kind of what is the best shift to make. And guys, this is just where I'm at. There's going to be a lot more details to follow. I just wanted to shoot this video and kind of share, like this morning, like every morning I sit down to read, write, and journal. And this is what came to mind to share today. I wasn't going to start sharing until next month. So I probably will redo this video at some point. I just wanted to just be honest and transparent about what's going on. Here in the fund, and I'm not looking to be the biggest. That was never wanted to be like big high net worth guy was never my goal. But the idea of maintaining a 100% track record through my career, I guess we'll call it my career, was always a goal for me. I've maintained that. I'm like 100% committed to do that. So I'm not looking to scale bigger guys. Like we had a motto in our company, small but mighty. It's like the tortoise wins the race over the hare. And that's what we're looking to do here. That's what I'm looking to do with my company. Is we're not like, if you're an investor watching this, you're looking like some super aggressive, high rate of return type of deal, portfolio and fund to invest in. That's not us. We're going to invest in affordable housing that's producing cash flow here in Texas, just solid Texas real estate, operating with proven, fundamentals and investing, principles that I've been using for 18 years now. And that's what we're doing. There's pros and cons to what I'm doing. Okay. Some of you love the way that our relationship is now. And I get that. And it's like, I have like the deepest gratitude and appreciation for each and every one of you. And I hope you will come with me, to this next kind of phase, the next chapter of investing. There's benefits to it, because sometimes if it's a flip deal, right, you put your money in and it's going out, it's in and out, it's in and out, it's in and out. And if your money's not working, your money's not working. And then the more times you have to go in, like analyze a deal, like flip deals, those are riskier deals potentially, depending on who the borrower is and the deal. And it's in and out and it's setting, versus being deployed consistently, through a fund model where you're getting cash each and every month plus some upside. Like tortoise usually wins the race over the hare. I know there's probably exceptions to the rule, but we're looking to be the tortoise of Texas real estate investing, I guess you could say, is what we're looking to do. But I'll be covering much more in depth with you guys who are looking to invest with me. Like, once again, this is an offer, a pitch to promote. I just know some of my lenders are going to be watching this, and to know real estate investors who are in the same boat of, you're running an investing business and, you have nervousness, you have fear because you don't know what the market holds, and you want to do right by your lenders. You want to keep 100% track record, but we also know that business is hard. We know that 80 or 90% of real estate investors are out of business within a few years. Okay. The question is how can we operate in a way where we do right by our lenders and do right by ourselves, right? Do good while doing good. That's what it's all about. So thank you so much for watching this tad bit long video about the divine union of Dave Ramsey and Robert Kiyosaki.